What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. This episode is going to be part of the mindset series, and I want to speak about addictions in general. Okay, I'll dwell later on into more specific ones and my personal experiences with them, but in the beginning of this channel and for the most part of my general population of the people that I consult and coach, I just want to speak about the mentality and the behavior of addiction. So from my perspective, this is my truth. I'm not saying this is scientific or it's everybody's truth. This is just my outlook on it, because I've lived on multiple continents. I've been through many situations most won't go through in total in one lifetime, meaning different demographics. I know what it's like to have nothing, to be living off the minimum. I know what it's like to have more money than you know what to do with. I know what it's like to be living the high life with private jets and first class and yachts and cars and huge houses. And I know what it's like to be living inside of a prison cell. I know what it's like to have good people around you that care about you. And I know what it's like to have savages around you. I know what it's like to have nobody around you. I know what it's like to be in complete despair and be lost and confused. I've been a soldier before. I've moved continent 4 times under very difficult circumstances. And on top of that, my career coaching people for over 15 years full time and working in an area with 196 nationalities in it, every demographic, every religion, every age, every illness, every goal. I've gone through it on a personal level with hundreds of hours speaking into the psyche with my clientele. And I believe, especially from my experience, growing up in a world that had its extremes of lusts and desires and addictions for my first half of my life before I changed it, and also being a participant in that, I believe that everybody has addictive behaviors, okay? All of us have addictive behaviors because it's human nature. 1, we always seek routine. 2, we always seek comfort. That's how we were created from 150,000 years ago. We seek safety and being able to get everything that we could possibly get with the easiest means to live comfortably, to survive for the next generation, to proceed. It's the same basis of what animals do out there in nature. Ours is a little bit more complicated because of the society and our civilization. But to get away from that, we're all addicts in one sense or another. We all get dopamine, serotonin rushes from certain things. And some of us more than others, but some of us towards the upper end of that end up going into extremes with those desires and those comforts and those lusts and those vices, causes a lot of problems in our life. And some people have that and don't even notice it. They just haven't actually been honest enough to look in the mirror or to speak with somebody to understand why they're doing the things they're doing with their money, with their business, with their social life, with their outlets, whether it be alcohol, whether it be shopping, whether it be socializing, whether it be sex, whether it be just isolation on the other end of that spectrum, and self-sabotage. Could be through food, could be through medicines and pills, could be through exercise. There's a million different things. For the most part, all of us have an addictive behavior, especially when we're seeking something repetitively through hard times. It just becomes our unicorn. Like, that's our thing, our release from the world. And sometimes it's multiple things. So what I know from my experience is that you can't get rid of addictions. You can't get rid of addictions. I've seen people, taken from their addictions, whether it's gambling or sex or drugs or alcohol or many different things, and be put inside of a cage, put inside prison. And instantly, within hours, their addiction changes. I can't have this, and it'll go into sweets. It'll go into playing card games. It'll go into playing chess. It'll go into fitness. It'll go into drawing, and they'll be making cards and paintings and whatever they can with whatever materials they have for money in there. They instantly switch to another extreme. And this is something that they do all day long. And it's the same thing out here on the street. People will stop smoking and go into food. People will stop drinking and socializing to go out, and they'll obsess with their work. It's just a tit for tat. It's just a trade-off. And if you can understand it as simple as that for yourself, if you're struggling to get over certain obstacles or certain vices or certain comfort-seeking avenues that are not good for you, whether it's TV or video games or it's, socializing, alcohol, food, whatever the case may be, shopping, ordering stuff online. My best advice to others, what's worked for me 100% bulletproof, is switching that addiction to something that is going to give you a positive reward at the end of that. So if you love staring at the screen, and you're wasting your life away on Netflix or fucking watching YouTubers do stupid, silly stuff, then turn that addiction into watching videos on something that's going to make you better, like online shopping, drop shipping, how to be able to do sales and marketing, how to be able to sell a service or a skill online. If that's your thing, if you're a video gamer or you love watching TV and like sitting in a room alone, switch that into something that's going to bring you money. And if you're addicted to, you love the chase of, like I loved the chase and the adrenaline of the street life, always having one eye open, always having somebody that needed something from me, something that needed to be done on a 24-hour basis, always being on my feet, always being on my toes. And that was a very dangerous and edgy situation. But I just turned that into a life of consulting and coaching internationally. So I work with people 24 hours a day on every single continent except Antarctica. And it's tit for tat. I switched one for the other. I took all my outlets of anger or rage or lust, and females and money and all that shit that I kept diving into, that I was getting those instant gratifications for, and I switched it into long-term rewards. Things like my fitness, my health, my hobbies. I find stuff that's constructive, that I can sit there fixing certain things that I like. My house, my cars, sometimes a website, whatever I can keep my mind busy for an hour or two to be able to get it off of the stressful situations that happen through that day. And 90% of the time, most of these outlets are going to be something that you need to do on solo. And that's how they're going to be able to stay rewarding to you and not be, a crutch that you need others for. When you need others to hang around or you need to participate in your outlets, when you're having that shitty day, when you have that bad conversation, when you had that bad week, and you don't have those other people around you as a crutch, you're going to fall victim to your core habits, and they're not going to be good ones. And that's why I always say we never rise to our habits. We're never motivated 24/7 and always rising to the task at hand. But we always fall victim to our core habits. And that's why I always preach to construct good core habits. When you're upset, when you're pissed off, when you're anxious, when you're confused, you gotta have good outlets that are positive for you, or at least aren't deconstructive. Like there's something good coming out of it. That's why I said in the beginning, the whole thing with the TV and the video gamers. I'm not gonna knock you. If that's you 100% to the core, and you never care about what shape you're in or your health, but you're wasting your life away, and you're not producing anything, you're not selling anything into the world, you're not creating jobs, you're not creating wealth, you're not creating opportunities, you're not teaching people a skill set. Use that time to work online, to be able to produce money, and then eventually hire some people and purchase things. That's how our community survives, is through commerce. Everything has to circulate and go around into a circle. So that's why I said that as the first example, and I didn't say lift weights and get in great shape, because that's not it for everybody. Some people just want to be healthy and make sure that they're not going to die young or suffer from illnesses. But you gotta find some good outlets, because if you have an addictive behavior, you can spend years and years trying to completely eradicate it, but it's a lot easier for the first couple months, the first couple years, to switch it into other things. And then you'll be able to keep that mindset, which is very difficult for you to change, but you'll be obsessing about good things. You'll be obsessing about good things. And I've seen this for so many people where they just keep switching their anxieties and their obsessions and their addictions for worse ones. They'll switch the booze for drugs, and then the drugs for the food. And they'll stop their anxiety and their depression and their OCD about the work and put it into the family. Then they'll start picking at everybody, start picking them apart and what the problems are and what happened in the past. And when that doesn't work, they'll start doing that to other people or to other things. Or they'll be seeking it, what's the problem with the government, or what's the problem with this state or this city or this country, instead of looking internally. All the answers and all the strength that you will ever need is within yourself. Don't seek anywhere else outside of it. As long as you understand that, and you understand that you have a certain behavior pattern, just try to switch it. Just try to switch it to start off with, and then run it. Then you can see, maybe, you know what, I obsessed over building websites for too long, or I obsessed over fitness for too long, or I obsessed over making a garden in my backyard, or I don't know, whatever the goal may be, knitting socks for the poor. But that problem is a lot less than the problems that you're trying to overcome by switching that addiction. And that's my best advice to people. Try to switch it to something positive and have positive outlets, so that when you do fall victim to your own behavior that's wired inside of you, you're always going to be doing something that's going to be bettering your life and not worsening it. You're always going to be seeking a higher vibration and not a lower one. I hope this can bring you guys some value to your journey. If you have any questions about coaching or inquiries on my mentorship, all my information is in the bio. Stay true to yourself, stay good to yourself. Don't let anything or anybody get in the way of the life that you want to live.